Hello, in this presentation we will take a look at what is included in the Financial Accounting, Debits and Credits, and Financial Transactions course. We're currently in the overview section of the course. If we scroll through the overview section, we see that we currently have 96 lectures and 18.5 hours of instructional video. This could change as time passes. We are now in the course content section of the course. As we scroll through, we can see that the course content will be laid out by the section headings to tell us what is included in each section. As we open up each section, we can see that they don't all have the same amount of material. Some will be longer than others, but they will all include much the same type of detail, including instructional videos, many of them having a PDF file that will go along with the instructional video, the PDF file being something that we can then download and use as a reference. We will also include Excel files and work through these problems, one in terms of a PDF and then video content, and then we'll typically have an Excel worksheet where we can apply our skills to the Excel worksheet and work through the problem in that format as well. In that format, we'll have a worksheet that we can then download and an instructional video so that we can walk through it, see exactly what we are doing, and apply those skills to the Excel worksheet, learning both the accounting concepts and some basics to Excel. The Excel worksheet will be pre-formatted, so we're not going to do a lot of formatting. However, we will learn the basics of what the cells are, how to add and subtract in the cells, and what the relative relationship between cells are. We'll also include a lot of notes, and these are going to be text that we can read as we go through this as well. So we're going to include both the instructional videos and texts of the material so you can read through it and or view it, and you can also download the PDF and read those portions offline. We'll have many discussion forums as well. The discussion forums are going to be more open-ended questions, which also include an instructional video to guide the discussion. These are designed to have discussion with other classmates. So if you put information into the discussion forums, that will be relevant and that'll help other people in the course as well. And that's the design of those. We're also going to have PDF files in terms of test banks for the midpoint portion of the course, and you can then download those and work through the problems in that format. We also have some information that will be test type problems in a video format to practice multiple choice questions, which can be tricky. Those multiple choice questions can be tricky, so it's good practice to do the long problems within Excel to get the big picture, and then go in and do those multiple choice questions, which are often what tests are formatted in. And because they're shorter, they're often actually a little bit more trickier. So it's good practice to go in there and work through some of those small questions, those multiple choice questions. And then we have a comprehensive problem at the end, which will apply a lot of the concepts that we have learned in a comprehensive format so that we can see all the pieces put together in a relevant format in the relevant date line. Looking at the section headings to give us a summary of what will be covered, we first have the introduction, which will be this. Then we have why learn accounting. We're going to cover what accounting is, why we would want to learn accounting. Then we're going to talk about accounting objectives, accounting equation, and ethics, talking about what the objectives of accounting typically are. Introduce the accounting equation, which is going to be our first format of the double entry accounting system. Then we're going to look at ethics as it applies to a profession and how accounting fits into that picture of a profession, how it developed. Then we're going to look at the financial statements and go cover the financial statements, what they are. Then we're going to go through the accrual method versus the cash method, talk about the revenue and expense recognition principles, or revenue recognition and the matching principle. These are going to be some of the core accrual principles we will need in order to move forward. Then we're going to cover financial transaction rules and thought processes. Our goal here is to get a formal setup so that when we go through this process, we have a formal set of rules that we can go through and therefore not run into these points where we get stuck and we get stopped and we don't know how to move forward. So we'll set up a process to setting up the financial transactions. Then we're going to record the transactions using the accounting equation. Later we'll use debits and credits. We're first going to start with the accounting equation to record transactions. Then we're basically at the midpoint at this time, and we're going to include a glossary at the midpoint and resources at the midpoint, including a PDF file of test questions you could download and use as practice for those accounting equation type of problems. Then we're moving on to the second half, which we'll record using debits and credits. So we're first going to define debits and credits. Then we're going to talk about debit and credit rules and thought processes. How do they work? How do they function? You can think of them kind of like pieces on a board, kind of like checker pieces on a board. We got to learn some rules. Once we learn the rules, however, then we can learn how to process the game. Then we're going to record cash transactions using debits and credits. Then we're going to record accounts receivable transactions using the debits and credits. Finally, we will record accounts payable transactions using debits and credits. So we'll just practice journal entries as we go through, starting with cash, then receivables, and then payables, looking at cash first because there's going to be a lot more transactions involving cash. And it also really helps us to fix the second piece of the transaction if cash is involved. Then we're going to record transactions to the general ledger. And finally, we'll have a comprehensive problem which will apply many of the concepts in a relevant form using an Excel worksheet that we can help to work through the problem, one with an instructional video, following along with the Excel worksheet so that we can apply some of the skills that we have learned in a comprehensive format.